A cop gave a biker a ticket on the road. What a hot man, she thought, unaware he was a mafia boss. The sun burned low over the California highway, a stretch of hot asphalt cutting through dry hills and lazy wind. Officer Madison Carter squinted behind her aviator sunglasses, one hand resting on the radar gun as the other gripped her hip. It had been a long, quiet afternoon, until the black motorcycle blurred past her patrol car like a bullet. 85 and a 60, she muttered. You've got to be kidding me. Her lights flashed red and blue, slicing through the dusty air. The bike slowed, tires screeching lightly before pulling to the side of the road. The rider dismounted, one booted foot hitting the ground with confidence that irritated her immediately. Maddie stepped out of her cruiser, posture straight, badge catching the sun. She'd stopped dozens of bikers before. Most were either nervous or rude. This one, though. This one didn't move like the others. There was calm in his body, like he was in control of everything, even her patrol lights. He removed his helmet. And for a second, just 1 second, Maddie forgot how to breathe. Thick dark hair fell loose around his temples, a few strands clinging to a tanned forehead. His jawline looked like it had been carved with intention, shadowed by the kind of stubble that made women stare longer than they should. His green eyes, impossibly sharp under the sunlight, met hers without a hint of apology. Her heartbeat kicked. Get it together, Carter. License and registration, she said, voice steady. You were doing 25 over. He smirked, voice deep and smooth. You sure your radar's not broken, officer? She raised an eyebrow. Are you suggesting I don't know how to use my own equipment? Not at all, he said, tilting his head slightly. Just hoping you'd give me the benefit of the doubt. She held out her hand, unimpressed. License. He pulled it from his jacket, black leather, worn but expensive, and passed it to her. Their fingers brushed briefly, warm skin, solid. Something shifted in her stomach. She glanced down at the name. Lorenzo Moretti. Her lips parted slightly. That last name rang faintly in her mind, like something she'd heard once in a briefing or on a police report. But she brushed it off. There were plenty of Italians in California. Mr. Moretti, she said crisply, writing the ticket. Do you have any reason for driving like you're auditioning for Fast and Furious? He smiled, slow, amused. Maybe I just wanted someone to chase me. Her pen froze. That tone wasn't arrogant. It was teasing, dangerous. She looked up. He was watching her closely, eyes glinting like he already knew she was blushing behind her glasses. You think this is funny? I think you're beautiful when you're mad, he said simply. For the first time that day, Madison's professionalism cracked. Her pulse jumped so hard she could hear it in her ears. You just earned yourself another citation for harassment, she said dryly, tearing the ticket and handing it to him. He took it with a quiet chuckle, folding it in half before sliding it into his jacket pocket. Guess I deserved that. You did, she said, turning to walk back to her car. But his voice stopped her halfway. What's your name, officer? She hesitated. Carter. He nodded, like he was memorizing it. Carter, he repeated softly. Nice name. Drive safe, Mr. Moretti. I always do, he said, putting the helmet back on. Well, almost always. The engine growled alive. As he sped away, her eyes followed despite herself. The curve of his shoulders under the jacket, the confidence, the danger. She exhaled, shaking her head. What a hot man. But arrogant as hell. She slid back into her cruiser, trying to suppress the stupid smile threatening to form. It was ridiculous. He was just another biker. She had a job to do. But the next few hours didn't help. Every time she blinked, she saw that smirk. Those eyes, the way he said her name like it meant something. Later that night, the small precinct buzzed with the sound of printers and old fluorescent lights. Maddie sat at her desk, filing reports, when Sergeant Walker stopped by her cubicle holding a sheet of paper. You pulled over someone today on Highway 26? He asked, looking uneasy. Yeah, speeding. Why? He leaned in. Name? Lorenzo Moretti, she said, puzzled. Why? Walker swore under his breath. Jesus, Maddie, you don't check the names before you write a ticket. He was speeding, she shot back. That's all I needed to know. You ticketed that Moretti. He lowered his voice. He's connected. His family very connected. We've had federal eyes on them for years. She frowned. You mean Mafia? I'm saying watch your back, he said. Don't go near that man again. Maddie stared at the wall after he left. Mafia boss? No. He was cocky, sure, but he didn't look like a criminal. And yet, deep down, a small voice whispered that she had noticed something else in those eyes. Something darker, controlled, dangerous. Her phone buzzed on the desk. Unknown number. She opened it. You shouldn't have written that ticket. She froze. The room suddenly felt smaller, quieter. She looked around. Empty desks, a flickering exit sign. Another text came through. He doesn't like being told what to do. Her throat tightened. Was someone watching her? Or was it him? A shadow crossed the glass window of her office. For a second, she thought she saw a tall figure near the parking lot, black jacket, helmet under his arm. But when she rushed to look, there was nothing. Her phone buzzed again. See you soon, Officer Carter. She stared at the screen, heart hammering, torn between fear and something else entirely. Because if she was honest with herself, the idea of seeing him again didn't only scare her, it thrilled her. Officer Madison Carter did not scare easily. She'd worked traffic in rough parts of the city, pulled over drunk truckers twice her size, and once had to pull a crying toddler out of the back seat while the parents screamed at her. She knew how to keep her pulse steady. She knew how to separate work from emotion. But that night, lying in bed with her phone still on the nightstand, the 3 messages from the unknown number kept replaying in her head. You shouldn't have written that ticket. He doesn't like being told what to do. See you soon, Officer Carter. She'd traced the number through the basic tools she had access to. Burner, no owner, no location. Whoever sent it knew what they were doing, which meant Sergeant Walker was right. She hadn't just ticketed a random hot biker. She had ticketed a man people warned her about in briefings. But what stuck with her wasn't the warning. It was his face when he'd said her name. The next day was routine. Patrol, paperwork, traffic stop, report. She tried to act like everything was normal, but a tension had settled under her skin. Not quite fear, not quite curiosity. Something in between. Around 8 p.m. after her shift, she drove to Lou's Diner, the place all the late shift cops went when they didn't want to cook. Neon red sign, peeling vinyl booths, smell of fries and coffee. Safe, predictable, familiar. She parked, checked the parking lot out of habit. No black Ducati, no SUV. Good. She slid into her usual booth near the window. Linda, the night waitress, waved. Long day, honey? You have no idea. Maddie sighed. Grilled chicken, no bun, and coffee, strong. You got it. Maddie relaxed against the seat. The low hum of conversation, clink of cutlery, and the old rock playing from the radio grounded her. Out there, men like Lorenzo Moretti moved in shadows and black cars. In here, cops just complained about paperwork. She took off her duty belt, letting her hips breathe for a second, then tied her hair into a messy knot. Out of uniform, out of duty. Just Maddie. The doorbell dinged. She didn't even look up at first. Then she felt it. It was ridiculous how fast her body recognized him, like her skin remembered